of that content pouring into Venezuela. This will become.
Hello, my Teaserking family. Give me 1 second.
To ride the evil Yankees out once and for all. And we lose sight of things, look at.
All right. Went for a walk, went and got some food at the grocery store. And now let's do it. What a happy day yesterday. Finally hit. I'm so excited. Finally hit my games, hit my locks, hit a lot of good games. Got lucky on the Florida State game. Got lucky at TCU at the end. Everything won except like I lost Iowa State by a half point. And hit the Baylor game. So it was a real good day. My locks won. They were Ohio State under 50, which was 45, but we'll take it. And under 53 in the Texas-Florida game, which Florida won, which I was incredibly surprised. But Texas, Arch Manning he's a winner, everybody. He's ready for some high school now. So the under wins, Texas under, Ohio State under, that's the big lock. I did play Ohio State in a game today. So that's already in. One lot going today. Other bets, it's kind of limited because of the crap, but we'll go through them. And let's go through the lines. Well, first, we played the under in the Cleveland-Minnesota game, and let's see. There we go, 10-7 going into the third quarter. I'm surprised it's only into the third quarter. It's 11. This game started at 9:30. Well, whatever. All right. Houston, 1.5, 40.5. And I'm going to give you my scores today. I haven't done that yet because I really haven't been able to figure out what the scores should be. But now I'm starting to get my site. My site was closed for a while, but it's back. Miami, 144.5. To Carolina, we know Tyreek Hill's out. So who do they got left? We got Philly 444 to Denver. Should be a good game. I'll give you all the scores. Dallas and the Jets. Dallas won 48. This was 3. New Orleans 1.5, 42. We got Indy 747.5. Brock Bowers is hurt. He's playing with the hurt knee. Gentry should be fine. Problem is Geno Smith's playing. How do they think he's any good, man? They need to get this Daggio, or they need to get Robertson from Baylor, or from Baylor. Those are real quarterbacks. Apparently Daggio told Alabama to fuck off. That's why the line jumped from 10 to 12. He said, well, if we play our game, we'll win easily, is what he said. And I didn't hear that until after the game. We won the game. We had 16.5. Alabama had to score a late touchdown to make it look better. So they won by 16, but they were only up 9 with like a minute left in the game. And on 4th and 2 at the 20, they run an off tackle play and it scores a touchdown. It's like, really? Okay. That's what you got to do, Alabama. Oh yeah, because the spread was 12 and they were up 9. That's why they did it. So don't tell me these coaches don't know the fucking spreads. Fortunately, that's why we played teasers. 16.5 was a winner. And it really, if you bet it Saturday, it was 18.5 because it went to 12. Seattle 3.5, 44.5 to Tampa. Arizona 7.5, 41 to Tennessee. I wonder why this is 7.5. We'll go 41.5. Washington and San Diego. San Diego is 347.5. Daniels is playing. 2 of his receivers are not. So, makes it a little bit challenging there for Daniels without having receivers. Now they do have other receivers. So we'll have to see. But San Diego, I'm sure they'll be better. If we do it like college, then Washington travels across the country is in trouble, but it's not till 4:30. So San Diego 348. Detroit 10.5. I think you can get some 10s and 49.5. Okay, and Buffalo 849.5. And Kansas City 3.5, 45.5. So if we look down the injuries, half the Baltimore team's out. Lamar's out. Most of their defense is out. But not really that worried about it. Houston can't really take advantage of it. And their backups are good. I mean, this is the problem when you pay Lamar all the money. Your backups when they get injuries are not very good. And the only team that really understood this was the New England Patriots with Tom Brady. That's why Brady never made $50 million. I'm sure they gave him part of the team and stuff like that. I mean, he's not hurting for money. But this way, when guys get hurt, they had good backups because they put their money into the team and not into one guy. And this is the problem with teams like the Lions and some other teams that basically just don't have the capability. They just play golf, and then when the guys get hurt, they got nobody. They're just stupid. David? I don't know how much Tua makes, but if he makes more than $10, it's a joke. He should never be starting. But look how good he is. But Tyreek Hill makes $30 million, and that hurts Miami. That's why when they get injuries, that's why they suck so bad. When you pay a receiver $30 million, you don't have money for all the defense and all the offensive linemen and everybody else you need to pay. It's a salary cap. You only have so much, and a receiver's not the key role. $50 million. Well, as long as I'm not paying him, I don't care. The question is, will he turn it into gold or watch it go to zero? We know how most of these guys just watch it go to zero. But not Bobby Bo. He knows how to turn $10,000 into $1 million of gold. Our boy Bobby. All right. So Houston, Baltimore. Houston an under 13 defense. So real good defense, we know. Baltimore with a good offense, but you don't have Lamar. And so there's too many injuries. So Baltimore's a very injured team. They're at home. They'll probably run the ball with Cooper Rush. He's adequate. He can do damage. 13 defense, Baltimore at 33, but it's a lot. They played Buffalo, Detroit, and Kansas City. Well, yeah, against Baltimore, it was like they gave up 14. They're in trouble, but they play a really good defense. So I expect this. My score here is 17-14 Houston. I think Houston keeps the score down. I think Baltimore will still bring a defense. You got to realize the backups are still NFL players. Even in college, they're okay, but it's different when you get players in the NFL, and not like Michigan's backups are probably okay. But when you get to, Chicago's backups, they're probably pretty good, or Kansas City's, they're probably pretty good. So it's still what I rank it. Miami, Carolina. So I put on my title, courage, confidence. And what is it? And can you lose it? Can you gain it? It's very critical in life in every aspect. And we'll walk through that in a minute. Because when you bet sports or play poker, you can get it and you can lose it real quickly. So I got Miami as a Z team, Carolina an under team. Miami with the 30 defense and Tug, Carolina under with Steve Young, who's even worse. My score here is now, first of all, who's the Z team? So I'm pointing out the Z teams here as Miami, New Orleans, Tennessee, Cincinnati. That makes sense, doesn't it? They suck. They have no offense, no defense. Cincinnati's different because if Joe Burrow is there, they're a much better team. But understanding he's not, we see that they're not very strong. So here we got Miami, a Z team, as a road favorite. Now, if this was college, we'd be betting Carolina as a home dog to a Z team, and they're an under team. They're not a Z. So I got Carolina 20-13 over Miami because Carolina, because how can Miami be a road favorite, especially without Tyreek Hill? All right, he's out. So they're still 1.5 point favorite. Okay. Now, did I bet Carolina? I don't think I did. This is what I think will happen, but do I have the confidence? Now we can see how it blends in to actually make the bet. It's a good play, Carolina, but do we trust Steve Young to win a game for us? No. And so if the confidence isn't there or the trust isn't there, we don't make the bet, even though we think they're a good bet, especially in the teaser getting 7.5. We think Carolina wins 20-13, even though everybody's got injuries. So don't go on the injury. Well, he's out and he's out and he's out and he's out. Okay, Tyreek Hill, Joe Burrow, those are critical injuries. Hutchinson, if he's out again, and, certain player, Lamar being out actually helps Baltimore. They're a better team without him. All right, Denver, Philly. Denver an under team, 17 defense, Bo Nix, 20-2 in a teaser. Philly, a B team, a 22 defense, and Hurts. They're 17-3 as a home favorite the last 2 years in the teaser. Well, I guess last year and this year. We're now up to what they played like Super Bowl. So they played 17, 18, 19, 20 games and 4 now. So they played 24 games. My score here, Philly 24, Denver 20. Respecting the defenses, 17 defense by Denver and a 22 in Philly. Now, this is a early game, so we've got to keep in line that Denver has to. Now, Denver's not all West Coast. They're in the mountains, so they cut off probably 2 hours of flight time. So it's like Kansas City or Houston. It's not full East Coast, West Coast. So I got 24-20 Philly. And it's about right. The problem here with the confidence is, as much as I like Denver as a road dog, I'm scared of Philadelphia, as I should be. But I can take Philly, but I only get 2. But then I'm not sold on, Denver's too good of a team. So this is the tease the dog game. So again, 24-20, your play probably is Denver. As far as totals, it's hard because Philly scores so much on their defense, and Barkley breaks a long run that, it's like Michigan. They break a long run, and then there goes your under. Although yesterday, of course, they stayed under. So you can't get a break with Michigan. So I just think it'll be 24-20. And I'm really uncomfortable with either Denver or Philly. Denver could win, and Philly could win by 10. And a total of 44. Well, I guess I'm picking right on the number, 44. So tease away if you want. Again, I'm not playing that game, but I have Denver 20-2 overall against a lesser opponent. I'm playing them. And this is where you don't want to fuck with Philadelphia or Kansas City or teams like that. Dallas and the Jets. Dallas won and 47.5. Dak against Fields. Fields is back from the concussion, so he can go 3 of 20 with running for 250 yards. Dallas an over team. Score as you saw and give up 33 a game. The Jets are a W team. They don't score. They give up 30 a game. My score here, 31-23 Dallas. I think Dallas scores. My friend thinks that they only score at home. They can't score on the road based on a three games sample size. He said, well, look, they didn't score in Chicago. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But you can't take that as a one-game sample size like they can't score on the road. Jets, terrible coach, terrible team. But they're not even a Z team. They're a W. They score enough because Fields scores for you. So, again, 31-23 Dallas. Both teams have 30 defenses. So, I thought maybe CeeDee Lamb would hurt Dallas. Him being out doesn't hurt him at all. Well, at least Green Bay couldn't figure out how to double team Pickens. I doubt the Jets will be able to figure that out either. But we'll see. Again, new coach for Dallas. We can't trust him. We can't trust Dak. We certainly can't trust Phillips or Fields. So again, it becomes a confidence thing. Who do you trust? And that's the thing. The Giants and New Orleans. I got another Z team favored. If I just blindly pick, if the Z team's favored, bet against them. We'd probably win 95% of our bets. Although there's not too many times the Z team is favored. Here against the Giants, Giants are a W team with Russell Wilson. Dart takes over. They ain't getting any better. Neighbors is out for the year. Again, another receiver out. I think they're taking too much of that into the spread. Giants a W team of 25 defense, so they don't have a good defense. Now they got Jackson Dart. I'm going to run the ball because I can't throw. New Orleans is a Z team with a 30 defense, and Spencer, the Anvil Rattler, who stinks. He stunk at Oklahoma. He stunk at South Carolina. He stinks at New Orleans. I got the Giants winning 17-13. Even though the defenses are high, you don't have any offense. You have no Malik Neighbors. So what are you going to run, Scatterboo or Dart? Dark thinks he's going to be back at Mississippi because they're playing LSU here. I'm surprised, Bobby. Where are you? It's LSU and the pros, New Orleans. Yeah, and the funny thing is, LSU could probably beat New Orleans on a normal LSU team. Rattler, you're not going to get many points. The Giants' defense is weak. New Orleans maybe scores a little bit more than it. So I got 17-13. Maybe it's a little bit more. The Giants got to be a live dog because New Orleans, I just can't see them blowing anybody out. They're a Z team. Because they don't score a lot, they're a Z team, right? So that's why I got 17-13. Obviously, they don't score a lot. Oakland at Indy. Indy 748. How good is Indy? I don't know, but you know what? Indy's an A team as of now. We do not have confidence or trust that they're really an A team. Oakland is an under team. They don't score much because Geno Smith's busy throwing interceptions. There is times against the Bears, it was 29-28 or something. They lost by a point. But depending on who and where, now they're at home to Indy. They're not scoring a lot. They didn't score on San Diego. They scored some on the Bears and all the interceptions. Indy, on the other hand, is an A team with a 21 defense. So they almost look like a good team. This is 748. I got Indy winning 27-14. They're an A team at home. They should win. Oakland with Geno Smith, they're going to get 2 or 3 interceptions. Brock Bowers is really banged up with a bad knee, but he's going to play apparently. And you got Gentry. The other tight end's out with the concussion. And then they got Jacoby Myers or something. Oakland just doesn't give you, Max Crosby. Okay. We know he's great. I don't know what Indy gives you on defense. But Oakland's still got a 25 defense, and Indy's got a 21 defense. So interesting there. It's not like this game's at San Diego or Kansas City, and it's a big rivalry game for Oakland. This is Indy, the Baltimore Colts, basically. So yeah, there is a rivalry between Oakland and Baltimore. That was That was when Baltimore won the Super Bowl, and I think it was 70. They beat Oakland. This is when Baltimore beat Dallas, 1970, I think. And the Baltimore lost to the Oakland lost to Joe Namath in 68, and then they lost in that dirt game in Baltimore when Shula left and they had McCaffrey, and they beat Oakland in the championship game. So that's about the biggest revenge they have there. But Oakland got it back when they won with the Ghost to the Post was also against Baltimore in 75 or 76. I think it was 76. They hit Dave Casper on a great catch, unbelievable catch. And it was the only time they go to overtime and I'm weighing 4. I got Oakland -4, and they score a touchdown for me. So instead of winning by 3, they won by 6. Leave it to John Madden. What a great man. All right. So that's the history of Oakland, Baltimore. I mean, it's so stupid. They're the Indianapolis Colts. What kind of shit is that? All right. Destroying history, these socialists. So I got 27-14 Indy. I think they seem to be scoring points. They seem to be playing decent defense. Oakland doesn't scare me, especially if Brock Bowers is pretty hurt. So I just don't see it. If you want to tease Oakland in 13, I don't have the confidence there because they don't have the defense. If I'm going to tease a team like Oakland, I got to have defense to do it. And I don't. I got a 25 defense. So I could see Taylor running it, and then Daniel Jones going 3 of 15 for 30 yards, but running for 200. It's such a crazy league because these quarterbacks suck. All right, Tampa Bay, Seattle. Now, the big news in this game is Tampa Bay's 14-0 as a road dog, which gives us confidence that Tampa Bay, as a road dog, can play. They lost to Philly last week. I got Tampa Bay, an E team with the 24 defense and Baker. And Evans is out, but Godwin's back. The tackle's back. You know, they lose some guys, but everybody does. The key is, do they have Baker? Yes. That's always the key. No Joe Burrow, no Cincinnati. Yes, Joe Burrow. I don't care if the whole line's out. I'm fine. And the fault that Burrow is out is not because of the offensive line. It's Burrow's fault for not just getting his ass on the ground. He needs to do that. He needs to protect himself, and he's not. All right. So Seattle is an A team with the 17 defense, and Darnold, who we know Tampa Bay will put pressure on and shake him up. So I got an A team against an E team, 24 defense, 17. I got Seattle winning 30-27. I respect 14-0 as a road dog. Tampa Bay is a very good team. The Bakers playing very good. And Darnold, we know, has trouble. So I don't buy Seattle blowing out Tampa. Philly couldn't do it. I don't think Seattle's going to do it. Here's where your confidence comes in. Do we believe and trust the 14-0 road dog, which we do? We have that's something I do in the trend because Baker's been there and the coach for 4 or 5 years now. If it's Chicago, when we get the new coach Johnson and Caleb, I don't respect any trends because the coach has only been there for 4 games now. I don't have enough data. That's why it's frustrating with the technical analysis in football. It works if you can get a 14-0 trend with the quarterback coach that have been there. This is a dynamite trend, but you can't even use Chicago. You can't use half these teams because they all got, like Tennessee, new coach, new quarterback. New England, new coach, new quarterback. I mean, it's all over the place. These teams are rushing quarterbacks in. Why is Jackson Dart even playing? Why is he even in the uniform? He is nowhere ready. I'm as ready to play quarterback as he is. I couldn't tell you 5 plays. Neither can he. He is nowhere near being a starting quarterback. Maybe he isn't. Mahomes didn't play his whole first year. That turned out okay. Joe Burrow was a little different. Lamar's still not ready to play. Josh Allen, it took him a few years. You got to let the quarterback digest for at least a year. If you draft a kid out of college and you throw him in right away, you're out of your minds. So I would never bet on I would never bet these new, Jackson Darts or whatever. All right. So good game. Seattle 30-27. Upset, very possible. We'll see what happens. I mean, because look how good a team he is. Evans, who can barely walk, says, I'll play or he's out, but Godwin plays, even though he's probably still a month away. Tennessee, Arizona. We got a Z team, Tennessee. Arizona, an under team. Tennessee, a Z team with the 30 defense, and Cam Ward, who has as much business starting as I do. I can use this a lot today. Arizona, an under team with the 19, and Kyler Murray, who you think he's better than he is, but he never really is that good. He always runs for that 20-yard run, and that's the highlight that he gives you. Arizona very much an under team 19 defense. So we have Arizona 7.5, 41.5. Ward and Murray. I got 20-3 Arizona. Arizona's got a 19 defense, and I think it's a little bit better. They need the game. They're at home. Tennessee with Cam Ward, they're a Z team, so they're not scoring. And they got a 30 defense. So Arizona should not light them up, but should score enough. And that's where I get about 20-3. I get no help from Tennessee. Now, you can go under. You could go, I'll lay 1. I mean, either way, it depends what you like, but what you know is Tennessee's not going to do shit. Tennessee has no chance to get the W here. I mean, unless Murray just throws 4 or 5 interceptions, turnovers cause the upset. So if Murray just hands the ball off, those and just kicks field goals and stop with the 4th downs, please. Oh my God, it was pathetic yesterday. We'll get into that in a minute. So Arizona 20-3. Tennessee's just horrible. And again, you're betting against the Z team, just like in college. Washington, San Diego. Washington, a B team with the 23 defense, and our hero, Jalen Daniels. We got San Diego under an 18 defense, although where was it last week? And Justin Herbert, where was he last week? Oh, he's pulling his head out of his ass right now. 2 interceptions, 17 penalties. So look for San Diego to get reamed out, play much better today, but they're playing Jalen Daniels. Now, we know McLaurin and another receiver are out. So if the 2 receivers are out, does that really matter as much as you think? No, the key, the straw that stirs the drink is Daniels. So Washington will be okay. San Diego, an under team with an 18. They won't really score that much. I think Washington's defense isn't bad. It's a 23. I got 24-17 San Diego. It's about what they score in the 20s. Washington with Daniels should find us 17. Maybe he finds us all 24. Total on the game's 48. I'm coming up with 41. San Diego normally plays under games. And without the receivers, obviously, it's going to take at least 1 to 2 touchdowns away from Washington. Daniels will have to run around. He's got a bad knee. So I think under 48 with the 41, I think sounds about right. It's probably, I don't know how else to play the game. I don't really trust Harbaugh. And then that leaves me trusting Washington, which they're going to run the ball basically because they don't have receivers. Always understand this. This is pro football, right? So when your 2 receivers, McLaurin and the other guy, are out, what do? They play 5 running backs. So they got 2 running backs going to play wide receivers. You've got the tight end Ertz. You've got the running backs playing running back. And it's going to be a lot of short passes, a little skinny post. You're not going to have your more aggressive post pattern, stop and goes, sideline routes that the regular receivers run because they're not there to run them. So this is going to be wide receiver screens, these little, handoff up the middles, these scoop, the Utah play where he goes back and he laterals it to the running back running up the middle. But just because the receivers are out, you got Zach Ertz and the running backs and whoever the backup receivers are. So it's not like nothing. The key is Daniels and he's playing. So this should be the best game of the day. Detroit, Cincinnati, A versus Z. Detroit 10-50. Detroit's a 22 defense, so that's come down. It was 30. Cincinnati's a Z defense is a 30 defense, but with Browning, they now can't score. With Burrow, at least they were an over team. You just bet Cincinnati over all the time. Here, you're going to bet this game. You're going to bet no offense from Cincy and their 30 defense against the Lion team who scores 30. I got 37-7 Detroit here. It's weird with Detroit. You don't really worry about them. Even against Houston last year when Goff threw 5 picks, another one of Goff's fine games against the defense. Here he's got a 30 defense. And the key is because they run. They don't really rely on Goff too much. They run, and then they do the play action off the run. So once you start biting on on the run, then they reverse it and flick it the other way, and the defense is caught. So because you have the running game, that's why you can trust Detroit. Detroit's a very trusting game here. They're going to be in trouble in Philadelphia, Washington, Kansas City, Buffalo. That's where they're going to be in trouble, but not in this game against a weak Cincinnati team. Maybe at San Diego and at Denver, they'd be a little bit of problem. But Detroit wins this game. 37-7. It's an easy one against the Z team. There's nothing Cincinnati can do to even make it close. And that leaves you with the 30 defense. So it's not like golf should have a bunch of turnovers because the defense sucks. This is why we track the defense. If I were to make a bet like Philly against Denver, if I took Philly, I got a 17 defense I'm fucking with. That's not an easy win. I'm going to have trouble scoring. But when I look at but who's my against here? Tennessee, Arizona should have a fairly easy time scoring against 30 defense, and the Jets in Dallas with both 30 defenses. You should get points in the game because the defenses really can't stop you. All right. So Detroit 37-7. New England, Buffalo. New England an under team, a 20 defense. Drake May. Buffalo is an A team with a 23 defense. It's a 7.5, 49.5. And Josh Allen. This is your free play. My score is 34-13. Why is it a free play? Because New England doesn't really have offense. Drake May doesn't scare you. They're really not going to stop Josh Allen. Does New England really have a 20 defense? Maybe. Buffalo is very strong at home. And, this is Drake May's not the guy. Maybe he runs for a little bit, but I got 34-13 there. Kansas City and Jacksonville Monday night. KC's an under team, as they've been for the last 5 years, a 19 defense. So once they got Spagnolia, they were really tightening in their defense. And we got Mahomes against Lawrence. Lawrence, terrible. Jacksonville's a B team this year with an 18 defense. So did their defense get better, or the fact that you just don't play anybody? Has that been the reason? Probably more. They're not winning because of Lawrence, just like Daniel Jones isn't winning for Indy. So you got an 18 defense and a 19. I got KC winning 21-17. It's Mahomes. He knows how to win. Jacksonville's playing decent. They played the Niners decently. And I just see I actually beat the Niners, but the Niners are so beaten up. That's what I don't understand. The Niners lose to Jacksonville and beat the fucking Rams. Well, that was a fixed game, so we can't even go there. But we can't look at that. We just got to look at this game. We break it down. Yeah, it's hard to take KC because of the 18 defense. If we believe it's a real 18 defense, which I'm not sure. What was the Niners score? It was 21. It was 26-21. So if the Niners, and it wasn't even Brock Purdy, I think, got the points, then if the Niners did that, it's just Mahomes is playing well. There's still a game or two behind San Diego. And who are you going to take, Mahomes or Lawrence? So this is Mahomes being pissed off. We're not dead. And now he's starting to roll. And they beat Baltimore. And the way they beat Baltimore, I think they'll beat Jacksonville. It doesn't matter where the game's at for Mahomes. They have to win. They've been playing well. Their defense is getting better. The receivers are starting. He's hitting that one guy who nobody ever heard of. You got to take KC getting 2.5. I think that's a law in some state. In Vegas, it's a law. Take KC there. So that's your NFL breakdown. Let's see what's going on in our 17-14 Cleveland going into the fourth quarter. It's a 31, the total on the game, 36.5. And we got it in the teaser, so 42.5. So we'll see. Where's the scoring coming from? Cleveland. Well, they each scored. Dylan Gabriel passed to David Nokia. Jordan Mason runs for that. Cam Akers passed to Josh Oliver. That's how they're scoring. Dylan Gabriel passed to, so Dylan Gabriel's playing pretty well, as I thought he would. Carson Wentz, 11 of 18, 113 yards and nothing. And Gabriel, 16 of 25, 135 and 2 touchdowns. So I think I was right with Gabriel, right? And they waited 4 games. I would have waited a little bit more. But Minnesota with a strong defense. I think we'll see some field goals coming up. Judkins is rushing for 89 yards. Minnesota's got nobody. Jefferson, 4 catches, 59 yards. Let's see, any sacks, defense. No sacks, 1 sack. Cleveland, Myles Garrett, 3 solos. We've got 1 sack for each team. And so that's where we stay, 17-14 in the fourth quarter. And Cleveland just punted, so Minnesota has the ball somewhere. 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 42. Fumble. Oh, okay, they just fumbled the ball. Rush to the right for 3-yard loss, tackled by McGuire. Scott fumble. Mohamed Diabetes recovered fumble for no one. Cleveland committed 15-yard penalty, unnecessary roughness. So Cleveland will have the ball, and after the penalty, so it'll be 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 30, which is good for the under. See, that's what you want. You want them, okay, they fumble. We got the ball at our 30, or Cleveland got it. That's what you want. All right. So 17-14. Once you get about 5 minutes, they're just running the clock. So we're at 31, 38, 40. We cannot give up 2 touchdowns. We can give up 42, which is 31, which is 11 more. So we can give up a touchdown and a field goal. That's how you got to look at overs and unders. This game is played under. I have 2 weak quarterbacks and 2 strong defenses. That's the way you play it. So we'll see. We got to get down. Once we get down about the 5-minute mark, we hope it's still 17-14. All right. So it was yesterday. I had Ohio State under, and it goes 45-3, and I'm sweating, going, I can't give up any more points. And even in the Texas game, I had that under. It was 29-21, and Arch Manning's got the ball. Thank God for him. And he gets sacked, and that's it. But I'm like, if he ties the game up, I'm fucked. I'm over. So they're really making me sweat my locks, my totals. All right. Some games yesterday. The cough from hell. So we're not going to go through every game, but we'll go through the big ones. Western Kentucky, Delaware. It was an even game. It was a tease the dog game, and the dog won 27-24 Western Kentucky. BYU, I played under with West Virginia. Was one of these strange games because of the turnovers. BYU fumbled at the 5, and West Virginia scored in 1 play. There was 80-yard plays. I mean, it was just a nightmare. The game was not a regular game. It was too many turnovers, and where the turnovers were at. So BYU 38-24, they win, but it doesn't stay under. Navy surprising with Air Force 34-31. Again, a rivalry game. I stayed away from it. I did like Navy, but you got to be careful in the rivalry. And Air Force scores 31. They've been scoring. They just haven't been stopping anybody. Cincinnati, Iowa State, our free play. We lose by a half a point. 38-30, a long pass. Cincinnati in the middle of the fourth quarter, put them up 38-22. Iowa State scores, hits the 2-pointer, 38-30. I thought I was a winner, and then I realized it was 7.5, not 8.5. Surprising Iowa State let up that many points. Very strange day. Is Cincinnati that good? I don't know. You just beat Kansas and Iowa State. So now I think they are. Baylor gets the win, 35-34. I had Baylor even. That's when the switch flipped and the confidence came back. So when you start picking, how do you pick? What is your theory? And a lot of my theory is looking at these games and going, how did Ohio State and Washington play? Okay, that's how I got to play Ohio State. That's how I got to play Washington. And you start looking at how they play each other, and that's your that's your guide. And when your system works, you're confident. Let's say golf, you hit a driver and it goes 275 yards. Now you have confidence. I can hit my driver. But when you start hooking the ball into the lake or slicing it into the tree or hitting it 25 feet in front of the tee box, your confidence goes. Why? Because the confidence is prior history. You ask a girl out. She says yes. You have confidence. Oh, I'm going to ask her out. I'm going to ask her out. I'm going to ask her out. Because she said yes. She said yes. She said yes. But if the girls say no, you lose confidence. You don't have any confidence. Well, I asked her out. She said no. I asked her out. She said no. I don't want to ask anybody else out. I don't want to get that negative feedback. So you can see how it goes into everything in poker. Well, I think I can read the guy. I think I got this play. I'm going to play my aces this way, and I win. I have confidence, and then I replay the same play, which won for us. And then you get confidence because it works. You do something, it works. You do it, it works. You get confidence. If I keep doing it, it keeps working. That's positive confidence. So I guess it's positive feedback. But if I bluff and the guy beats me, and then I call him and I lose, and I lose my confidence. So confidence is very fickle. You can, if your play works, you immediately have it. But if your plays start not winning, which is what happened to me the last 2 weeks, thank God yesterday was a strong day, you start questioning, now, how did I pick before? How did everything I pick win, and now they're all losing? Like, what the fuck's going on? And this was the game that flipped the light back, because Baylor was down a lot, came back, wins the game 35-34. I got it even. I had it in another teaser with somebody, and it won. So I go, finally, I hit the Illinois over, and I go, finally, I won a teaser. There we go. And then I hit the lock, Ohio State, Texas under. Both were under. Hit that lock. At Ohio State in another teaser, which is today. I hit Vanderbilt. I have them in 2 teasers. I hit Virginia. I know we talked about that yesterday. One of our friends, sorry, I can't remember who said it. We had a lot of crowd yesterday where he said, I keep betting Vandy in Virginia. And I think it was Todd. There you go. See, now Todd has confidence in Vandy and Virginia because of the quarterbacks. What variable changed? Both quarterbacks. Daggio's at Vanderbilt from New Mexico State. And then I can't remember the North Texas quarterback is now at Virginia, lighting it up. And therefore, we now have confidence in both those guys that they're going to win. And that's my secret to my success, picking football, basically doing everything, gold, silver, poker. Once you figure out, once you're flexible and you're free and you just look for it. And when you find it, you just keep pounding it. So I don't know I'm going to bet Virginia this year until the quarterback switches. And he switches and we bet him and he wins, and we bet him and he wins. And then we go, I'm just going to keep betting him. We bet them. We didn't bet them. We thought they'd beat Florida, play Florida State tough. They did. And then people were worried they're going to be flat. And I said, no, I don't like Bill or Moss for Louisville. And Virginia won the game in overtime. Florida State plays Miami. It's a rivalry. Yeah, Miami had them, and Florida State comes back. And there you go. Florida State beat Alabama. Give them some credit. So you start doing things, and they come through. And, hitting a good drive, playing poker properly, asking the girl out. She says yes. Betting on a certain game. They say yes. And once you do that, then you've got the confidence that you need. And that's really what you're looking at, is gaining the confidence. It's based on recall. It's, I'm going to do this and it wins. And I do that and it wins. Right? And when you get confused is taking the Rams over the Niners and they lose, it hurts your confidence. And then BYU doesn't get under, and you're going, wait a minute, but was that a bad bet? And then you read that's why I read the box score. No, there was 5-6 turnovers. BYU turned it over twice inside their own 5. And, and then you start realizing how they did it. I was talking to my friend. He kept saying, well, it's such a good bet. The Rams in 12 in a division game. And I go, no, I don't think it was. I don't think my Ram bet was bad. And then I noticed at the end, they're scoring a touchdown. The guy fumbles. Well, that was my point. It wasn't a bad bet. If the guy just holds on to the ball at the 1, he lands in the end zone, it's a touchdown, and the Rams win, and the bet was good. So you try to understand why it lost. But the theory is there. You're looking at past games to try to figure out the current one. I'm looking at the Lions beating Baltimore and then beating Cleveland. I go, well, they're not going to lose to Cincinnati. Most teams are kind of fickle. I can't get a read on the Giants and New Orleans, Oakland, Miami, Carolina. I mean, we know they all suck. So I can't get any confidence. There's nothing I can see watching these teams that make me want to bet them. Do I want to bet Carolina as a home dog? There's nothing I can see that I have feedback on that says, hey, yeah, Carolina's a good home dog. And there's nothing I can see that Miami can win on the road. So it's a double blank, and then you just walk away from it. So you're looking for the feedback. You're looking for something. Yeah, they did win. And then you pull that, and that's the confidence. I have the confidence to bet, Arizona, Tennessee, it's a reverse confidence. I have no confidence at all in Cam Ward. But I remember him at Washington State where he sucked. He was okay at Miami. But then I look at everything else and I go, oh, okay, he stinks. I look at him in the NFL. He hasn't done anything. They haven't even scored. And so I'm really betting against Tennessee. That's why I like betting against the Z teams, because they show me nothing. So I have confidence that they're still going to show me nothing today. And that's sort of what you look at. And that's the basis of, well, in this case, betting football, or it's playing poker, or it's women, or it's doing something at a job, gold and silver. We have confidence that we watch the price keep going up. So we have confidence that gold and silver is going to keep going up because we see it keep going up. Because what changed the game there is bricks. The bricks variable has made it. Excuse me. The bricks variable says buy gold and silver. Actually, like I say, it started with printing the dollar to nothing. And then here comes bricks with all their gold. And now it comes in. And this is from my master's class. And I remember this and I pull that. Gives me the confidence to know what to do with it. Right. So my confidence level is, well, if you print the dollar to nothing, it loses all its value. And then you show Rome and you show France and you show England. You say, look what happened to them. So now you have that history, and then you have confidence that history will repeat, because if the Roman Empire went out and the Germans and Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka and Pakistan, they all went out, then there you go. That's what's going to happen. And so you have confidence to buy gold and silver, knowing that they're going to go to the moon, and they are. I finally watched Mark McGuire a little bit on my walk, and I'm still struggling with Mark. Going, what the fuck did he? You know, the problem with Mark is the guy asked the question and he never answered the question. He starts, well, here's the answer to the question, and then he goes off on another tangent to another question, and you got to decode what is he saying because he talks in gibberish. And this is the problem with Mark McGuire. Egon's more straightforward, and I know you like me because I'm very straightforward. You know, who do I like in Buffalo, New England? Buffalo. I mean, here's your answer. That's the question you want, and that's the answer you want. Buffalo 34-13. You've got, I give you here it is, and here's the answer right there. And not, well, let's talk about Miami and Carolina. Well, you know, first I want to talk Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. No, answer the question. So the guy asked the question and about something about revaluing the dollar, and he never answered the question. So in my notes, I says, Mark, you never answered the question. What? And if you did, I didn't get it. Basically, COMEX is blown up, and basically China is the one setting the price, and COMEX is following. They're not leading. Basically, something like that. Let's go through some more games. Georgia, off of a loss, wins 35-14. Lane 21, they win by 21. I thought about playing Georgia. I'm not sure how good they are, and I'm still not sure. Illinois, 43-27 to Purdue. Purdue shows you they're a good over. They have a quarterback. They can score, and they have a kind of a weak pass defense. That was one of my big over bets yesterday. It was over 50-something, and they scored 70. Clemson finally wins 38-10 over North Carolina. North Carolina stinks. They are now on our radar as a Z team. We're going to bet against them, especially against like a Miami, a Florida State, anybody. Michigan 24-10. Wisconsin played a feisty defensive game. Michigan, their quarterback sucks. A few decent plays, but they're nothing. Temple beats UTSA. Temple, I warn you, is pretty good. So we'll keep now. This is a big win for them. UTSA, I'm surprised, only got 21 points. I liked the game over. I didn't play it. And I needed 53 when we got 48, but I didn't play it. Wake, I did call over Virginia Tech 30-23. This because Virginia Tech's a weak favorite. This is where the confidence in the weak favorite comes in. You see a team that's not very strong in their favorite. Oh, you mean like Miami today? You mean like New Orleans? So you got about 3 or 4 of those teams. Even Minnesota right now, I mean, they're weak favorites. They don't really have a good quarterback. They're not going to score a lot of points. And then they keep coming through, and then you get the confidence to bet against the weak favorites. So Wake Forest, Virginia Tech was a weak favorite, and Wake Forest wins 30-23, getting 6 or 7 points. Western Michigan beats UMass 21-3, which I thought – Western's not good. UMass is, like I said, the worst team in college football. The spread was only 13. They win by 21-3, and you would have been laying 7. This is the game that pisses me off that I didn't lock up. Knowing part of it is because I took Missouri against them last week, laying 38, and they win by 36. It's like the one time I bet it doesn't work. But then here it comes again, and you just keep pounding against UMass. So you just you're not going to win all 10. So if you do lose one, don't lose hope. So keep betting against UMass. Arizona bounces back, beats the Z team Oak State 41-13. So let me guess, every other time we bet against the Oak State, we win, except for the time we lock Houston with it. Unbelievable. And Arizona wins 41-13 off of a loss. Let's see. UConn 51, Florida National 10. UConn is explosive, as I've said. Sometimes they don't play it, but here against Florida International, they did. App State beats Oregon State. Oh, Oklahoma State's the other Z team. All right. App State beats them. The quarterback did play. It looked like Malik Murphy was out, but he wasn't. So App State went favored, and I liked Oregon State as a dog in this game, and it would have won. I didn't play it. Surprise game here, Notre Dame 28, Boise 7. This is overall over. Boise throws 4 interceptions. Again, the turnovers kill the overs. So 35, I needed 56. Nowhere near it. I don't know what happened, but again, Boise probably kept the ball away and then threw picks, so they didn't convert. You need a close game to get an over. Virginia, our team, 30-27 over Louisville in overtime. I like Virginia. I had them knowing that, people thought, I heard on the radio, oh, this is why I hate listening to radio. People, oh, well, Virginia will be flat because they beat Florida State, and anytime they have the crowd rushes the field and they win, oh, we can't bet that. And yet here's Virginia wins 30-27 because they got the better team and the better quarterback. SMU 31-18 over Syracuse. Syracuse quarterback's out. We'll see what happens. Bama 30-14. We win. We had 16.5. That was the first line. We got Vanderbilt in. Vanderbilt, Virginia. Vanderbilt. I think I had with Ohio State under. I had a couple of Ohio State unders, a couple of Vanderbilts. So Vanderbilt, Vandy's going in to blow them out. It's 10-0 Vandy, and then the quarterback fumbles near the goal line. If he scores, and I'm surprised that Vandy didn't score in the second half, but neither did Alabama. I know Cadillac said they'll score more. Well, they didn't score more. They scored just as much as they could give, 16.5. Florida, Texas, our first lock, under 53. This is 50. Florida 29-21. I don't know where they got that from, but Arch Manning just is terrible. Texas plays Oklahoma this week. I am going to look at the line, and if it is somewhere, we will lock this game under today or tomorrow as soon as there's a line that I can bet. So my buyers, beware. What I tend to do is I'll post it today. My week switches over like Monday night at midnight. So you'll see it tomorrow, or you'll see it today if I get the right line. And I want to get it in early because let's say it's 46. By the end of the week, it'll be 42. Oklahoma doesn't have a decent backup, and Arch Manning stinks, and both teams have great defenses. This is an under. Anything in the 40s that I can go under 50 will be a lock next week, Oklahoma, Texas. Let the buyer beware. Beware of that. Who I'm going to play it with, I don't know. I got to read the schedule, and that's the problem. I know one, but I can't lock it by itself. I got to lock it with somebody else. Let's see. Northwestern 42, Lou Monroe 7. That was another one that should have been played and should have been locked. And I don't trust Northwestern, but they still come on and they play a weak team, and it's a Big Ten team, and they have enough to kill them. The spread here was like 7 or 8. I mean, this is such a lock, and I'm really like, I can't miss these easy Lou Monroes and UMasses. These have got to be. These are the givens. Here, bet this. This is a joke. Washington 24-20 Maryland. About what I thought. I was very scared of this because they had to travel to the East Coast off of a loss. And I kept looking at Maryland and I wasn't sure. So I didn't play this game. But I knew, I knew Washington's going to have problems because of the travel. But I'm glad they got the win. Here's this game that I don't know was a surprise. UCLA 42, Penn State 37. I warned you. Flying to California from Pencil, 5-hour flight. That is not that is not a good variable. You cannot ignore that. UCLA wins 42-37. I guess the guy's son is now the offensive coordinator. I don't remember who he is. And, big win for UCLA. They will be flat as shit next week. One quote the kid's son said is, I can't understand that UCLA is winless with all this talent here on offense. So that was surprising. So now we got to see a whole new, you had a new coach, a new offensive coordinator in the middle of the year. You have no data on this. You have one game. Okay. Penn State's Penn State. They got to play Iowa, Indiana, and Ohio State. So they ain't going to do shit. That's why these preseason rankings are for the Birds. They're number 7. They just lost to probably one of the worst Power 5 teams there is. I mean, you have your UMasses and Lou Monroes, but I mean, in the big conferences, they're the worst. They're a Z team. Now they're not a Z team anymore. Now maybe they're an over team. We'll have to see. Oklahoma 44-0 over Kent State, which Kent State's a Z team. Nebraska 38, Michigan State 27. It's about what I thought. I liked Michigan State. I thought the spread went up way too high. Old Dominion, I cried. I loved Old Dominion the name came in, take up an Old Dominion, and I had them, and then I took them off, and they win 47-7, and I'm like, let's see. Vegas beats Wyoming 31-17. Texas Tech 35-11 over Houston. They beat Utah, and now they beat Houston. They've had no problem against these strong defensive teams, and their defense has been super strong. I'd like to see them against TCU and Baylor. If they give up 11 points, I doubt it. But Texas Tech they're the 11th best team, and Penn State 7th. No. Texas Tech's the top 5 team right now. Kansas gets the win 27-20 over UCF. They come back. I don't play them. They come back. Where was this last fucking week? TCU 35-21. I have the over in this game, which I win near the end because it was over. I think it was, I needed in the 50s, and it was 28-21, and then it goes 35-21. So a 56 gets me over. A&M 31-9 over Old Mississippi State. Old Mississippi State has a decent defense. Not a lot of offense here, but I thought it'd be a defensive game. 22, I think they covered that. I think it was there. Ohio State 42-3. What a defense. What can you say? Great defense. And they can score. Their quarterback's looking better. Now they look like the number 1 team. I won't bet against them. If they lose to Michigan this year, I don't know what to say. How they lost to them last year and won the national title. But if they lose with this team to Michigan, oh, my God. Miami, 28-22. Miami had got up big. Florida State came back. I don't understand anything anymore. It's 28-19. Okay, Florida State scores. So now Florida State goes and onside kicks. Why didn't you kick it deep? You had 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning now. So they do that. So now Miami gets the ball like the 30, and they go, it's 4th and 8. Okay, kick the field goal because you're up 9. No, they go for it, and they don't make it. What am I watching? You should never have onside kicked. And then why are you going for it on 4th and 8? Oh, my God. So I go down and kick a field goal, and then I onside, but it doesn't matter. And it's 28-22. I got 10.5. So somehow I win. Now I know I'm rolling. Ohio State under, Tennessee under, TCU over. Now I feel the confidence back, which is the whole lesson today. How did I get these picks? It's the same thing. Florida State beat Alabama. I use that. Miami on the road is a road favorite. I got a strong home dog. I got Ohio State shutting down Washington. Minnesota with the decent defense. They're not going to score on them. Texas, great defense, no offense. Florida, a great defense and no offense, remembering the LSU game. So now everything comes back to the fold, and I'm like I'm going, I didn't know what to do with the, so how do I use it? I'm using these older games this year as the barometer of what should happen in these games. And now it's starting to happen. For the last 2 weeks, I don't know what was going on. Kansas had killed, whatchamacallit? Kansas had killed West Virginia and then loses to Cincinnati. Who are they? Now Cincinnati beats Iowa State. Now I'm going, oh, Cincinnati's a pretty good team. They only had played Nebraska. So that's what happens earlier in the year. It's always touchy feeling because you don't know. But where my strength lies is now I can turn on Cincinnati and go, hell, I'm going to start betting Cincinnati. They beat Iowa State. They beat Kansas. They beat two very strong teams. They must be okay. So that's the key. I'm not, I hate Cincinnati because they beat Kansas. It's, okay, now let's start jumping on Cincinnati. They won't be spread right. And they'll have a weak spread, and then you'll start taking advantage of Cincinnati. Kansas is back. Iowa State's always good. So that's where you're at. You just keep picking up, and then you're able to be open. And who should we bet? Oh, we're going to bet against Lou Monroe and Mass. Oh, now we might have to bet on UCLA because they got this new offensive coordinator. I can't remember the guys. The father's on Fox, and he used to be the coach at UCLA in Colorado, and the blonde guy, I can't remember his name. But now the son is the offensive coordinator. They're going to start scoring points. Now maybe they're an over team, or they're certainly a live dog. So when they play USC, we're gonna lock the game over. If it's in the 60s, we'll go, it'll be a 100-point game. But it's stuff like that. So all of a sudden, Miami wins 28-22. A good win is a road favorite. Florida State plays okay at home. They show some weakness. Memphis 45-7 over Tulsa. Memphis explosive. I thought that. Fresno State, Nevada, much closer than I thought, 2017. And a surprise here, Duke goes to Cal and wins 45-21. I was this close to playing Cal on Duke traveling to the West Coast, but I didn't. So I didn't trust Cal, and I don't trust Duke. So Duke's got a very good win here, 45-21. And Penn State had trouble going to the West Coast, but Duke didn't. And there's far too much of that. So let's call up next week. So we can see what confidence is. Raiders should have drafted him. Instead, they drafted Cam Miller. Raiders should have drafted Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel was very good. I told you. He played at Oregon. He was I didn't understand why they took Prime Jr. because it really made no sense. Drafting Prime Jr. after you drafted Dylan Gabriel. And I don't know why Tennessee didn't draft Dylan Gabriel instead of Cam Ward. That really made no sense. I need some water. Hold on. Excuse me. Well, every time I think my cold's getting better, I start doing this. Well, how do I know who to draft? Is because I'm a very good reader of talent, number one. So I can see Dylan Gabriel's good at Oregon. Right. And I go back to the Ohio State game in season when they won like 32-31. I go, wow, you put up 32 on Ohio State. You're a good quarterback. Now, he didn't do that well in the playoff game, but it wasn't his fault. It was the defense couldn't guard anybody. And so they were getting a lot of big passes, and they got down, and then Ohio State just blitzed them. That's how I know Penix was good, and Daniels was watching them against Alabama and Georgia, or watching Penix against Oregon going in and beating them twice. So that's what we have. And the confidence comes from doing something, buying gold and watching the price go up. Hey, go buy gold. Price is going to go up. You look at me like I'm an idiot, and then you buy it, and then you don't buy it, and then it goes up. Then I say, well, it's going to go up more, and you don't believe me, and it goes up more. Then you start having confidence in me going, fuck, he might know what's going on. He keeps saying buying gold, and the gold price keeps going up. And he says buy silver, and the same thing. Silver price keeps going up. That's how you gain confidence in me, by me saying something that comes through. And when it comes through, then you believe it. And then you get confidence in me. And then I get confidence in me when I say it, and it does what I say it should do. So it should do that, and then it starts doing it. And that's really the key to it. So it's doing something and getting rewarded gives you confidence. Doing something and you don't get rewarded takes your confidence. You start questioning yourself. Last week, I'm questioning, can I not pick anymore, or what the fuck's going on here? A lot of it is getting bad matchups. Some of it, instead of betting against Lou Monroe and UMass, well, hell, I had Maryland. I had Missouri over UMass. So I'm even losing with UMass going, what the fuck? And so that's really the key to it, is seeing what should happen, and it happens, and then you get confidence. That's how I'm such a good handicapper and such a good economics, because economist, because I know what should happen, and then it starts happening, and then you're like, okay, you said this is going to happen. It's happening. So I get good confidence. I go, yeah, okay, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. And so we'll see. But that's what but it can go just as easily. If you say this is going to happen and it doesn't, now there goes your confidence. Wait a minute. I'm not picking the winner. I said this was going to happen and it didn't. Oh my God. That's why I was so happy with the Florida, Texas lock under yesterday. And then, okay, I picked one. And then here comes Ohio State under, and it stayed under. Now I'm like, okay, both my locks won yesterday. And now that confidence is back. And now when I look at games and I want to pick them, I go, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Boom. And not that I don't know what I'm doing when I pick the loser. It's just, it didn't happen. And sometimes it's a good bet. It just doesn't win. And that's what I try to explain to people. Some people just think I'm supposed to go 100%. I mean, it's weird. It's like, well, I was with you, but you lost last. The 1 week I played you, you lost. And I say, well, you got to have confidence in me. You play me the whole year. you can't play me 1 week because then it's random. We could win with black on over red in roulette, right? We could hit 15 blacks in a row, and then you come to the table and you go, what's the bet? I go, it's black, and then red hits. Well, you told me black was going to, yeah, but I won 15 in a row you weren't here for, and then the red hits. So it's the timing of it. But if you play me 20 weeks, you're going to win probably 15 of the 20, you'll win. Do you catch one of the 5 losing weeks? And as we get more into the year now, where now we see Cincinnati, what they are, and Georgia and Kentucky and everybody, now it makes it even easier for us to pick. Oh, fuck, look at UCLA. And Ohio State, we know, and Washington, we know, and USC. So the more you know the team, now you see them in a spot and you go, shit, yeah, I'm going to play them. And the expected outcome is very good there. So we know what the expected outcome is. Let me check our Cleveland score. 17-14 with 59 seconds left. This is a lock. This is under 42.5. It's at 31. We just don't want overtime. We're going to get it. 3rd and 4th at 21. Why does it always happen that way? So we'll see what happens. Anyway, so it looks like it's in good shape. First and 10 at the Cleveland 17. So what's Minnesota doing? I mean, the best thing is them score a touchdown, win 21-17. They'll probably go for 2, right? And with no time left. So we want 17 all and go to overtime. All right. NCAA football. Oh, wait, let's take a quick baseball look. The Tigers actually won 3-2 yesterday. Amazing. In 11 innings. So Detroit plays at Seattle. Skubal against Luis Castillo. I don't know who Castillo is. I can't imagine anybody watching this game. It's on FS1, which I don't know what that is. Fox Sports 1. I don't know what that channel. Why is it on this? Oh, because, well, the Yankees in Toronto are on Freed against that. It's on Fox Sport 1 also. So football's on. So I don't know. I just hope the Tigers lose. All right, so let's look at next week. All right. We start off with a Wednesday night game. Now you got to be careful because then it makes you tired, it gets you into too many things. And do you know, is your confidence there to pick Missouri State, Middle Tennessee? First, you got to know what type of team they are, and then you got to, what's the line and makes sense. Let's see if there's any normal games. East Carolina and Tulane, that's a good game. Thursday. Sam Houston's a Z team, plays Thursday night. Southern Miss, Georgia Southern. Southern Miss is a good team. South Florida and North Texas. This game should be an over. Should be, but again, it's Thursday night. No, this one's Friday. Rutgers at Washington. Washington's back home. Rutgers is okay. They score a lot. They don't have a great defense. This should be an over. Stanford at SMU. SMU, I don't know. UCLA goes to Michigan State. This is your Saturday big noon game. So what are you going to do with this game? UCLA with the upset of the century. With the upset of the century yesterday, beating Penn State as 25-point home dogs, travel to Michigan State. Now, again, we've got a new offensive coordinator. We've got a new coach. He thinks that this offense is great, that they can do it. They showed it against Penn State. We'll see what the line is. Will UCLA have the fortitude to be able to bounce, to not fall flat after the win? And that's the key. Ohio State goes to Illinois. Oh, that's the big noon game. You can't really go over on this game. Now, how good is Illinois' defense? I don't know. We watched Indiana put up 100 points on them. So we'll see what the line is. This is probably an Ohio State bet if you get the right line. The line's going to tell us what we do. Houston goes to Oak State. We saw what they did going to Oregon State, so we have no confidence in Houston, even though we like Willie Fritz. Alabama and Missouri. Ooh, this could be a very live dog, Missouri. Now, again, here's where we get confused. We love Kansas. They beat Fresno State. They get Missouri at home. They're getting 10. We take 16. They lose by 11. Missouri was up 4 and then broke a long run at the end and win by 11. So now we're like, oh, Missouri's really good. I don't know if they're really good. They just beat Kansas. They barely beat UMass 42-6. So we're really not sure what to do. How good is Missouri? They're undefeated, 5-0. And then we got Alabama, who just came off an emotional Vanderbilt win. Missouri's better than Vanderbilt. They're very, very close. They have a very good quarterback also. They're at home. Alabama, you just played Georgia, and now you just played Vandy. And I want revenge for this guy running a touchdown on me late yesterday. So I'm not really sure what to do with this. This will be my spread will be Alabama 10. Should be 5, but it'll be 10. See, now if I'm making a line on the game, I'm making the true line on the game. Alabama, Missouri. What I really think Alabama is 7 points better than Missouri, if that. And then we'll see what the line is. But the problem with the line is to make the betting even, not the teams. I'm actually trying to give you what the score is going to be. Alabama wins by 7. Maybe. Missouri could win, but I'm not going to make Missouri favored. Not in this case. So I think Alabama 7. The real line will be 14, which is to make the betting even and knowing everybody's going to bet Alabama. That's the key to the whole thing, is understanding that. All right, let me quickly go through the NFL line again. Let's see if there's any changes. And did we get a final? We did get a final. Good. And we won. Minnesota won 21-17, 38. The lock was under 42. It's the W. We win. Oh, we're 3-0 in our locks. What a happy time. Now, my game was 17-13, and the score ends up being 21-17. How about that? Right? I had Minnesota winning by 4. They won by 4. Thank God it didn't go to overtime. But that's what should have happened. Should have been a low-scoring game. We got a low-scoring game. What a happy day. Yes. I'm enjoying this weekend for the bullshit I had to put up with last weekend. Houston, Buffalo, Houston 2.5, 41.5. This is up from 1.5, up from 40.5. Miami won 44.5. Nothing really changed. Philly 444, 444. It's about right. Dallas, the Jets are now 1.5. Look at the JETSs, 1.5, 48. Now, we had Dallas as an over. The Jets are a W. We now have the W as the favorite over the over. Now, unless there's some injury that we don't know that happened in the last 20 minutes, now you like Dallas getting 7.5. You like the team getting over the touchdown. We'll look for injuries in a minute. New Orleans 1.5, 42. Nothing really changed. Indy 7, 46.5. Seattle 3.5, 44.5. Arizona 7.5, 41. San Diego 3, 47.5. Detroit 10, 49.5. Told you could get some 10s out there. Who the fuck's betting on Cincinnati? These are the idiot algorithm guys. Well, the trend in most of the games end by 10, and there I'm going to just lump in those stats into the Detroit game, even though they're all meaningless. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to take Cincinnati because they're 10.5, and most games end in 10s. That's about how stupid it is. Yeah, but you don't have a fucking quarterback, and Detroit's scoring, and Detroit's going to kill them. But most games end in 10. I mean, so it's ridiculous. Buffalo 8, 49.5, and KC still 3.5, 45.5. So very happy on the mini game. Now our other lock is at 1:00. If you want it, buy it. I'm not giving it to you. Although indirectly I have given it to you, but you don't know. I mean, I don't mind giving some more clues, but you don't know which game I've locked or what I'm betting on any of these games and if I'm betting them or not. So there. All right, back to college. All right. I thought it was important to go to the pros because it starts in 15 minutes. And now we can go back. All right. I think we're at Alabama and Missouri. So again, my spread would be Alabama -7, even though I think Missouri, I think it's a dead even game. Provided Missouri's as strong as I think they are. Let's go into that real quickly. I'm intrigued. Missouri, they beat UCA, not UCLA, UCA. They beat Kansas 42-31. They beat South Carolina 29-20, UMass 42-6, and Lou Lafayette 52-10. So are they really this strong? They score a shitload of points. They beat South Carolina by 9. So look how I get overvalued because of the Kansas game. And it shouldn't have even been 42-31. It should be 35-31. They're handing the ball off. The guy breaks it and scores 75 yards. So 52 with Lou Lafayette, a 29 South Carolina, and a 42 with UMass. So UMass and Lou Lafayette are terrible. South Carolina's not that good. And Kansas, I'm not sure how strong they are. Then we look at Alabama. They got killed by Florida State. They beat Lou Monroe, another Z team, 73-0. They beat a weak Wisconsin, 38-14. But then they beat a good Georgia team, and now they beat a good Vandy team. So now they've played kind of 2 in a row. Are we still taking Missouri? And that's a good question. Do we have Missouri overvalued? Which I would probably say, yeah. It's ironic. My credit cards are due on the 12th, and my Social Security normally comes before then, but there's always that. It's the second Monday of the month, so they won't come. Or maybe they will come on tomorrow. What was Wednesday the 1st? Oh, yes. No wonder it never comes this late. Wednesday was the 1st of October. So I'm going to get my Social Security tomorrow. That's the puzzling part because I never get it past the 12th. And because it was the 1st, the second Wednesday of the month is Wednesday is the 8th. So I will get on the 6th. All right. So I'll get Social Security tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was where I could, man, I don't get paid till the 13th. The way my Social Security works is because of my Social Security number, it says you're going to get paid the second Wednesday of the month, but it becomes a direct deposit and it becomes, you really get it on the Monday. Now I don't know if the government's still shut down or not. It shouldn't really affect me. Mine's an automatic direct deposit. They set it up, it just pays. And it'll pay the second Monday, so it should pay tomorrow. Right, whatever. So what we see from Alabama is off the loss to Florida State, Georgia, and Vanderbilt. Now, neither Missouri, 31, hard to say, pretty, an average defense against Kansas and South Carolina. You can't look at the UMass, Lou Lafayette games. So are they as strong as I think they am? Oh, we'll find out. We know they're a pretty strong team beating Kansas the way they did. All right. UCF and Cincinnati. Here you go. The troublemakers. So now I see Cincinnati's a much better team than UCF, pounding Kansas, pounding Iowa State. And here's where the lock comes in. If Cincinnati, my line should be about 10. If it comes in at like 7, Cincinnati becomes a lock -1 because we see how strong they are now. Now we're seeing them differently than we were seeing them in the beginning of the year. So the confidence in Cincinnati is good. We like the quarterback. They're at home. UCF we see is not really that good. And as we go, Pitt, Florida State off of a loss. Washington State goes to Ole Miss. What kind of schedule is that? They'll probably get killed. Washington State's terrible. UMass goes to Kent State. The battle of the Z teams. These are both two shit MAC teams. Unbelievable. So we want to go bet against Mass, and we can't because it's Kent State. Old D, my team, goes to Marshall. Marshall's not very good this year. Old D's very good. NC State goes to Notre Dame. Now I don't know what Notre Dame is. They're playing 80-point games, and then lately, like yesterday, it was a 35-point game. So now I got to get off of Notre Dame as an over, and now bet them more as a strong team. Oklahoma, Texas. Oh my God! All right, I'm going to give you a lock as a blessing for listening to me. This spread is Texas 10.5, 57.5. Can you fucking believe this? The lock on this game, and I'm going to find as many teams to lock it with, is under 63.5. Are you fucking kidding me? And I'm going to bet this as soon as I'm done here. Once I get a line on the Alabama or Notre Dame or somebody, 57. Where are they getting 57.5? Where in the world are they getting that? Looking at Oklahoma, Kent State. Texas played a 50 with Florida. Texas played a 21 with Ohio State. Let's not forget that. Oklahoma with a strong defense and no offense. Quarterback's out. Even if the quarterback were to play, I can't see a 63. This is the 3:30 game. Mateer broke his hand. I mean, I can't see him back. What did I say? I was hoping it'd be in the 40s. It's 57. This line is so bad. Now, here's where we make our line. What did I say? 47, 48. It's 10 points higher. I don't even know if I'm going to play a teaser in it. I mean, I will because I always do teasers, but this is one game I might just play it under 57.5 and say, fuck it. And this is what happens. I got to now get the lines and then study everything so I can quickly put it in with. So it's like, here's the lock, Texas under. Who am I going to put it with? Now, I might go to the NFL, but it's tough because you got to wait for the games to end, make sure the injuries, right? What a game. All right, let's see if we find the other half, which I think I just found. Wake Forest at Oregon State. Again, East Coast, West Coast. This could be our fellow lock. Indiana, Oregon, two explosive teams. Depending on the total, if this is in the 50s, then there's your lock. Under Texas, Oklahoma, over Oregon, Indiana. Or if Oregon's 10-point favorites, then we're taking Indiana in 16. But you got to watch the West Coast for Indiana. Although it's not that bad. They're in the middle of the country. App State, Georgia State. Northwestern goes to Penn State. Now, Penn State off of 2 losses. They're going to kill Northwestern. If TCU goes to Kansas State. We'll see who the dog is. Iowa State goes to Colorado. I'd say Iowa State will be a 7-point favorite. Nebraska and Maryland. It's a hard one because Maryland, we don't know how good they are. They did play Washington pretty well, but how much was jet lag? Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech. Gotta love Georgia Tech. Virginia Tech's pretty weak. Air Force goes to Vegas. Navy and Temple. That should be a very good game. Arkansas, Tennessee. Should be explosive. Tennessee at home. They haven't been at home in 3 or 4 weeks. UAB, Florida Atlantic. Lou Monroe, Coastal Carolina. San Jose State, Wyoming. Florida goes to A&M. So Florida gets the big win over Texas. Now has to travel to A&M flatter than a pancake. This I can see them being flat. A&M, love the quarterback. We'll see what's going on. Iowa goes to Wisconsin. Wisconsin's pretty bad. Kansas and Texas Tech. Oof. Before I'd be on Kansas as a live dog, but I don't know now. Texas Tech looks very good, beating both Utah and now Houston. So having no trouble with the two good defensive teams. Kansas is okay as a defensive team. Tech at home, depending on this line. Michigan goes to USC. This revenge for USC from last year, I remember. Oh my God, Michigan's 1.5, 50.5. Yeah, USC's very live dog here. Michigan, I'm sure they'll run it down their throat. Why is USC not ranked? They're better than Michigan. Live dog there, total of 50. USC's an over team. Michigan, pretty good defense, but I'm pretty sure USC will find a way to get some points on the board. Purdue and Minnie. Now Purdue's playing well. Minnie, okay. Clemson and BC. I don't know. Both teams kind of suck. Rice and UTSA. Here you got a mismanagement. You got Rice on defense against UTSA in offense. Georgia and Auburn. Georgia's 7-point favorite, 50.5. I don't know. This isn't my Georgia team. Auburn, I don't know how good they are. South Carolina goes to Bobby's house and plays at LSU Saturday night. I don't know. BYU goes to Arizona. BYU's a live dog here. Don't have a spread. I assume they're the dog. New Mexico goes to Boise. New Mexico is pretty good. Don't kid yourself. Arizona State goes to Utah. Utah, very tough, especially at home in the mountains. Devin Dampier, this should be a good game. San Diego State goes to Nevada, and Utah State, very explosive, goes to Hawaii. They will be a live dog if they're the dog there, but I don't think they will. So we found our bitch, and it's Oklahoma, Texas, under 63. That spread will probably drop to 51. I don't know what to expect out of – I don't believe the Oklahoma quarterback is, I'm going to play. Jesus. Texas is a 10-point favorite. Arch Manning's the quarterback. He's terrible. So that's how you look ahead. See, now we pretty much have the teams. We've identified them. By looking painfully at the last couple of games and looking what they just did. I don't need to look at half of them to understand who they are or what they are. That's the key to it. 102, we got the game starting soon. So that's where confidence comes in. We saw confidence. Florida State came back, won. Ohio State kept the game under. Texas, Florida won. We don't care about the upset. We don't care that Penn State beat SC because we were actually counting on that. We knew the travel was going to hurt Penn State. So we're not surprised at all. We're kind of stayed away from Washington because they had the same travel. The one that was Duke actually went to Cal and played a good game. That's the one that's kind of surprising. But that's what you're looking at is that. And that was it. Now I was listening to Mark McGuire, and Mark, I can play one thing. I got to refill my phone today. All right. So we're going to listen to about 5 minutes of Mark McGuire, then.
Why?
All right. Let's listen to about 5 minutes of Mark McGuire.
Ring the register. And essentially, that, although that still stays in place, it's such a small degree, there's not enough power to cause any problem. So as we continue to anticipate these paper-driven dips, and we've been saying this all along,
Comax.
they are and will be very shallow. Each short-term cycle is discovering the next in a series of higher physically supported stair steps to rally up from. Now let's briefly take a look at current conditions and how that provides clues of upcoming prices. And let's start by looking at gold, which is increasingly coming into the generalist mainstream media market focus. Bloomberg is increasingly onto the change in market behavior, while still not waking up to the overbought conditions are actually being driven by the transparent Basel III compliant Western-facing Chinese physical exchanges, which are permanently attracting untrusted, unallocated CME LBMA business into their trusted vaults. This next Bloomberg article last Tuesday really threw the cat in amongst the pigeons, driving a fresh flows of local London into highly liquid, global-facing SGE hubs. This is China taking off the gloves. So as you can see, China aims to become custodian of foreign sovereign gold reserves to strengthen its standing in the global bullion market. So it says the People's Bank of China is using the Shanghai Gold Exchange to court central banks in friendly countries to buy bullion and store it within their country's borders. We knew this. The move would enhance Beijing's role as the global financial system, really in the global financial system, furthering its goal of establishing a world that is far less dependent on the dollar and Western centers. However, what I find somewhat amusing, and I might have to chuckle here, is that this apples to oranges World Gold Council comparison view that, quote, gold trading volumes in London still dwarf Shanghai, completely miss the fact that the SGE volume is 100% physically backed versus local London counts unbacked, unallocated gold settled amongst the LBMA member banks' books. So a more realistic comparison would be to discount the LBMA's plus or minus 600 tons cleared every day by the allowable 20% haircut, which is completely allowable for them, which is equals about 480 tons. But compare that against the plus or minus 500 tons of fully backed international facing SGE gold cleared every single day. The international hub is averaging plus or minus 450 tons of gold settlements, adding significantly to daily volumes cleared. And the SGE vaults are being stuffed with Western bullion and are setting the global prices. Now, drilling down even further, illustrating the SGE has now overtaken Loco London as the global price setter, the relatively small 3 to 5 tons of Basel III compliant London spot gold that settles at the fixes is actually dwarfed by the 15 to 50 tons of SGE gold physically withdrawn every day. Now, recently, we've evidenced these volumes ramping up fast, hitting record volumes as high as 53 tons entering warehouses at the end of the day. that this gold is flowing into China at the expense of the legacy cartel. Now, these footprints illustrate that the SGE global bullion trading hubs have become sufficiently liquid to discover two competing institutional grade Basel III compliant physical fixes. That's Beijing time 10:15 a.m. and 2:15 p.m. That enables the diluted local London twice daily fixes to be one-to-one arbitraged as a benchmark. Now the clues are all there. Each Asia buys physical COMEX sells paper session, and we see multiple examples of it. AM fix versus a PM fix. Now we have seen some change in behavior, but usually it is Asia buys and the West sells. And again, we've seen, although we see a break in behavior here, it's simply because the shorts got squeezed more than they could cope with. And again, we see a new high being made today, Wednesday, and then the PM fix coming in lower. All that does is set up China for an Asia to set up a bid only situation, which we saw after the sell-off. Okay, so China's on holiday, but the PBOC certainly is not. And as I say, ETF demand will not stop. It's only just begun. Now,
so demand is just starting. So when you ask, do I sell my gold? Does it keep going? Am I too late? You're early. It's just starting. The gold price is just starting to jump. Okay, so keep that in mind. You're not too late. It's going to go much, much higher because every dollar's screwed. And then as every dollar's screwed, everything, people have only one option is to go buy gold and silver. There's no Bitcoin. You don't buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's backed by dollar. And I don't think most of the world trusts it anyway, because nobody trusts what they can't see. And it goes back to confidence. Do we have confidence that Bitcoin's real? And if so, why? Oh, because the one guy says it is. Do you have confidence in things that you can't see being real? Because I don't. If I can't see something, there's an invisible person over at my door. I mean, I can't, unless it's Joe Black, I can't possibly believe it. So I have no confidence that Bitcoin's real, that digital money's real, because we're from the school of, I have it. Okay, it's on my credit card, but it's still this. And then I have my gold in my hand. It's physical and I can see what's happening there. I have it. All right. And if I have it, I know my confidence is that it's real and it's not going to get hurt. It's not going to go to zero. And so again, it's confidence makes everything. So do you have the confidence in that? He talks about silver, but let's see.
Now, shorter term, as silver broke out above the identified short stops at 44,275. If you remember, we circled this. I've now added a color to that circle, but this is where the circle is as really very, very escalating geopolitical and tariff escalations. It's in very strong Russian and
Talking
Chinese military
silver
demand.
in a minute.
Now it's in US demand. I mean, basically, that's why we're noting record prices in every single global foreign exchange currency cross, prompting the US to both accumulate, and the word is soon to ban exports of US silver. There's only one outcome to tightening supply. The offer to sell silver for immediate delivery is simply going to rise. Let's look at a similar look at the silver future structure. For all the same reasons, they haven't raised margin calls. And you think about it, take a look at this, which is a protection of very large, naked, official short bets against silver. And with COMEX now reduced to becoming a price taker, the only solution is to buy this silver back at market. As I say, here's the problem. And as we just noticed, silver's just been reclassified as a critical mineral. And with it in accumulation with Russia, China, and the US has just begun, probably likely this export ban is almost certain. As I say, there's only one outcome to tightening supply. The offer to sell silver for immediate delivery simply has to rise. So, at a contract value of 165,000, and this was the same period, 2020, when they raised margins on silver to 16,000. Again, we saw a bit of a smackdown there. That was 9.7% of the 165,000. It's still 16,000, and we've actually moved higher now. So basically, even though it's slightly higher now, there's still 6.7% of contract value, which is a hell of a lot less. Now, shorter term, as silver broke out above the identified short stops at 44,275, if you remember, we circled this. I've now added a color to that circle, but this is where the circle is, as is this circle at 53. But essentially, it broke out last Thursday. Then we saw UBS belatedly updating their silver spot price to between 44 and 47 per ounce, stating it would bring it in line with their upgraded 3,900 gold forecast made a couple of weeks ago. They also reaffirmed their intention to stay long and would view all pullbacks as buying opportunities in both gold and silver. Interestingly, while they listed all the usual geopolitical industrial tailwinds, fiscal deficit and de-dollarization drivers, the pivotal critical mineral reclassification, and the G7-driven global stockpiling agreements were completely missed. Also, G7 began to weigh in price floors for counter China's dominance. So in summary, what this means is that dollar price silver is grossly underpriced versus at the highs in every other currency, led by daily fresh XAG CNY. In other words, silver against the CNY cross, the Chinese cross. It's being driven by Chinese physical stockpiling. And you can see that this is where it's being led from. So silver price floors are being put in place with CME LBMA diluted dollar price silver in the crosshairs for delivery.
So bottom line is there's huge demand for silver. The U.S. now sees it as a critical mineral, so they got to buy it. Again, adding more demand, and then they'll stop doing their shorts, or they'll try to do the shorts to buy it cheaper, but then they'll realize they have to cover them. And when China says, oh, you want a short, we'll buy it, and we want delivery of it, and the U.S. won't be able to deliver it because we don't have any to deliver. COMEX is gone. I don't know where these guys think that there's all this gold and silver in COMEX that's available. There might be gold and silver there, but it's not available. And that's the bottom line. So there isn't much left, but the demand is huge. And the U.S. has been kind of versus the other currencies. The U.S. is here. All the other currencies are here. We got to catch up to that. So look for a big run on silver. My guess $100 by Thanksgiving, maybe earlier. We'll see it as we do our classes every day. UConn's a very good. They got a good quarterback. Jim Mora Jr. is a good coach. They're not playing too bad. So yeah, they're not a Z team. See, that's where things get. Problem is, like you see a team that sucks. Well, even UCLA now, they were terrible, but now they've switched, and they switched the coach, and they switched the offensive coordinator, and you've got to catch it. You can't still think UCLA stinks. You have to realize they're not the same team you thought they were 2 weeks ago. And that's where the key is. You have to catch that. That's where I'm gifted, and most people just, it goes over their heads as I note that. And I go, wait a minute. Oh, just like how good is Missouri? Oh, Kansas, look at Cincinnati. They're coming on. So you're looking at it, And that's what you got. I mean, I'm shocked Michigan's favorite at USC. Thank you. You want to give me a gift, I'll take it. USC is at least a 4-point favorite in that game at USC. At Michigan, they lost by 4, but Michigan didn't have a quarterback last year. But that's where you're at with it. Michigan is not, I don't think, capable of beating USC. Everybody thinks USC is this bad team this year. I don't know why they think that. They're a very good team because they found their quarterback. That's the key to all teams. You find a quarterback. Missouri's found theirs. Daniels for Kansas. I rave about the Baylor quarterback and the Utah quarterback, and that's what it's all about. And you should get points with it. Anyway, time to go watch football. So that's Mark McGuire. I wanted to show you a little. He really just talks in riddles this time. Not a lot. I mean, I've watched it this morning on my walk, and I'm like, what the fuck is he? The guy asked the question. He never answers the question. Silver, okay. So he talks about China, which is why we watch him, is what's going on with China and BRICS, because we don't get that information. So he's the one that can give us that information. That's why we watch him, basically. We don't really learn anything from him. We do learn that COMEX is out and, okay, we get that part of it. But from an economic standpoint, it doesn't teach us anything. All right, let's go watch some football. I've already got one lock in, Cleveland under. I've got it played with another lock going on now. And we'll see. I've got, I don't have a lot now, really. I've got my one lock. And I think everything else looks like it's tonight. Yeah, I got 1, I got 2, I got 3 games tonight or this afternoon, and then the Buffalo game, and then the KC game tomorrow. So I don't have a lot. There wasn't a lot to play, but that's where you've got to be strong and not play. All right, we're not going to get into that. So we got into college a little bit for next week. So now today I'm going to bring in all the college stats and update my college and make notes. So like UCLA, they're not the same team. Cincinnati, they're not too bad. And try to get, Florida State's not as strong as we thought. Miami's maybe a little stronger. Alabama's starting to play well. So you make your notes. I always liked DeBoer. I always thought that Alabama would be a good offensive team. Where did they cover the over yesterday? 56, and they won. I don't think they did. I don't remember the score. It was something. What's it? 24-10. No, they won by 16. So no, it was 36-20, I think, or something, or 17. Maybe it was 30. No, it was 31-17. 14. No, they won by 12. 29-17. I don't know. We'll figure it out. anyway, so we start making notes. The teams start getting better. The new quarterbacks start getting adjusted to playing and everything else. So let me eat. I made sloppy joes last night. I didn't want to eat steak and get gout again, so I got 2 pounds of burger, which I'm not going to eat the whole 2 pounds. Like a steak, you can easily eat the whole freaking steak, and it's 1.5 pounds, which is what I did last week, and I had gout for a week. Now my foot feels fine. So hamburgers, and I'll make it last 3 or 4 days, and it's not as much meat at once. Going, and it's not as heavy as steaks. But I did notice the steak prices, even the meat for the hamburger prices were up a little bit yesterday. So it's coming. Depends on the grocery store. Meijer is pretty well stocked, but when I go to Walmart, they didn't have a lot of stuff, right? So I don't know. So just beware. Just load up on gold and silver. That's your savior, and that will allow you to get whatever, or travel if we need to, and go to where the food's at if that's what we need. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. www.teaserking.com, and we will see. All right. Take care. Good luck today.